Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Salutare.
Salut!
Ce faci, domnul?
Uite bine pe acasă.
Salutare, salutare. Să găsești și prezentarea.
Salut!
Salut! Ok. Azi avem invitați speciali. Știți, da? Oh, hey there, Mike.
Hey guys!
Speaking of the devil. How are you?
I'm very well actually. Busy but good.
Good, good. Was just talking about you, saying that we have guests that should spur the hype about Solana and the next steps. So you have a heavy task on your hands.
Excellent. I'm happy to. I think Jacob will probably be doing most of the talking, but I'll be. I can be around if necessary.
Okay, sounds good. I had a few slides put together, but I can't find them for whatever reason. Okay, there you go. The last but not least, final course or lecture. What is it more common? Is it lecture or course?
I say lecture for an individual item, lecture or lesson, either way,
Lesson,
and then
right.
course for the multiple lectures.
Oh, that makes sense. It's a course that has multiple lectures. Yeah. Good. Well, hi everybody. Hopefully we can get a full squad today. But we'll give it a few more minutes. I didn't call Mike. You're based in New York, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm at the Solana Foundation with how many people work in this building? It kind of depends because we have a whole bunch of ecosystem projects as well.
Right.
There's Raj's offices to my right.
That's cool.
When he's in town, a lot of the time he's also in West Coast, and but we also have people like from TipLink and from Artemis, and there's generally a constant stream of events kind of in or and around the office. So
I'm curious. I know that so Solana is a beach in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know like the beginning of the very first beginning of the project, but from what I understand, they were based in San Diego and then named it after Solana Beach, and they forked into like heavy New York stuff.
Yeah, so that's correct. So it's named after Solana Beach, and also that's the basis behind kind of the sea level, which is the concept of around like synchronization of the leaders that produce blocks. Anchor. What else is there? There's a bunch of different projects in Solana that have some kind of ocean theme. So
Right.
yeah, that all kind of comes from Solana. So yeah.
Are there any like headquarters operations in San Diego?
I know there's an office in San Francisco
Right.
where a bunch of foundation people are at, also a bunch of labs people as well, but mainly I think like most particularly our colleagues at labs are more distributed. Foundation, we are often meeting with other people, or in my case, I need to be in New York because there's a lot of like finance. Basically, New York is kind of the intersection of finance and blockchain. Miami's
Right.
good just doing pure blockchain, and San Francisco is really good for like tech in general. But New York, at least in the US, is where everything is. Is if you're doing serious things involving a lot of interactions with like TradFi, then New York is the place to be.
Right. Well, it makes sense.
Hey everyone. Hi Mike.
Hey Diana, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well.
So people are still joining. Usually we wait, I don't know, 2 or like 5 minutes, and then we can start. But yeah, like today's call will be held in English, as we have Mike and Jacob as guests from the Solana Foundation.
I think this would really work best is a lot of you folks would turn on the screen. Come on, don't be shy. Hello, hello. It's good. Thank you. 33, about, yeah, I think about 30 something. I think it was 36, 38 at max, still joining, which is, I think it's great for a squad of initial 50 something, 55, was it? So,
Yeah, 50.
yeah, congrats everybody on still being here.
The most courageous ones, right? Were the one like staying till the end.
It's not easy, as I assume you have found out, learning Solana, especially working with Rust and Anchor. That's the learning curve that's the most steep. But hey, you're still here. Means you got something out of it, which is nice.
I think Jacob is as well. Say, hey, Jacob.
I think I saw him, yeah.
Hello, hello. Yes, I'm here.
Good. Just checking if we have the people here. Okay, so then I think we can start. Basically, this is the last workshop of the first cohort from the Solana, like the Romanian Solana Developer Program. What we will be doing right now, so we finished with coding and like back-end, front-end, and stuff. So today, basically, we will just do a summary of like what we did till now, how we will approach like the end of the program, and what support you guys will get from us in the next 2 weeks so that we finish the labs or submit the project that you are thinking of. And we will be able to send you the graduation NFTs. So that's one. We will be also talking about potential ideas of projects that you can work or like you can build based on Jacob and Mike experience on like what's missing or like what's super potential in the ecosystem. And then we will be, also like Jacob and Mike would want to say a couple of things about Solana, what's special about the ecosystem, what might be some potential paths for everyone that took this program, meaning from job opportunities or maybe from building their own projects and launching them. And yeah, I highly encourage you to take advantage of like them being here with us and ask questions, or yeah, just give feedback or your thoughts on Solana in general, on the program, and like yeah, anything that it's relevant on the technical side. Yeah, so I think we, like Daniel and I just prepared just a couple of slides with just like the summary and some key things for the next week, and then yeah, we will be giving the mic to Jacob and Mike. So what do you want to share, Daniel? The screen?
Yes. I think everybody sees my screen. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Congrats on making it this far. This is our final lesson. We're just gonna get get advantage of our new guests, have a little bit of overview of what's been done and what's the next steps. Hopefully, answering some of our questions. If not, we'll shoot it later. I wanted to basically emphasize this, right? So it's really congrats to everybody that's still here. I wish I had the luxury of such nice course when I first joined. It was a lot of as I talked in the first lecture, it was a lot of glass chewing as a preferred term in Solana, trying to read through. Anchor was just launched, documentation, and just trying to hopefully people in Discord would answer your questions. There were no Solana exchange, Stack Overflow on Stack Exchange. That's a different story today. The space has evolved, and that's great. What we did, okay, just like a brief focus on everything. We did a lot of reading and writing from and to the Solana blockchain. We created tokens. With the help of token metadata, we created NFTs, right? We put up like a token with a name or with a description and stuff like that. We did a little bit of introduction to Rust. Okay, we thought about, hey, jumping into Anchor and Solana programming without basically knowing some concepts of Rust would be like cumbersome. How can we make this a little bit easier? So we touched a little bit of Rust and introduction to on-chain programming development, and then Andre, I'm sure he kind of like he shot darts at you with all the hard stuff, right? Like PDAs and actually writing Solana smart programs. And it ended. I like to think like pretty neatly with a little bit of user interaction, user interfaces. Talking a little bit about wallets and how you can use like what's current out there. There's like front-end libs to interact with those wallets, right? That like the front-end lecture. That was what has been done. Let's talk about what's next. So we're gonna do, as Diana mentioned, we're gonna do office hours for the next 2 weeks. Basically the same hours as the lectures. It's not gonna be 1.5, like an hour and a half. It's gonna be shorter at about 1 hour. We'll try to help push through labs, right? Complete every lab assignment that you had, and offer support, of course, on Phylum projects. What we need from you is, if you didn't have the tickets created with your repo, please do so. Right, have a ticket with, hey, this is what my repo where I push all my tasks, and then we need to gather wallets for graduation. We have some Google Forms for that. We're gonna share that later.
Actually, I will be putting right now the Google form, so feel free, everyone, to, if you have the wallet address,
perfect,
you can drop it in there, and yeah, we'll be making sure to send you the NFTs.
A little bit of preview about the graduation NFTs we're gonna give out to everybody that completes the tasks, the labs, some sort of like a diploma layout that have like a little bit of a badge, like a distinct badge for everybody on the top left corner. I think they look pretty neat. And yeah, okay, final project. We came up with some ideas. Mike helped us in that regard. I have a few others that are not so fancy, but there are not many projects. You can come up with your own project. Let's discuss it in the office hours. You're not restricted to those 4 ideas that we have, because I'm sure there are not that many, and you might want to build your next cool stuff. So a little bit of intro will follow on each project. Basically, you can do like a trends app or dApp, an NFT focused wallets. some of this, I'm thinking of a two-sided marketplace for services where each service is represented as an NFT, and a prediction, a prediction market. And I'm going to talk a little bit about each. The first two came up from Mike, so I'm sure he might want to jump in and give a few words about them. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that you might have seen in the kind of general ecosystem right now is the popularity of meme coins, but they're not really tied to the value of memes in any real way. So I think one of the things that could actually be useful is to create effectively, this is really a subtype of prediction market, but tying out to an oracle to create some project where people can actually effectively make a bet on the future of a meme. So what this means is going out to talk to an oracle. So if you look at solana.com/developers, you will go and see we have some guides on how to talk to the existing well-known oracles and also how to get your own data on chain. And yeah, you can basically make an on-chain app that does something, could give somebody some reward when a given trend is above or below some particular level. So yeah.
Cool. What about this one?
So
like
this
the
one
NFT focus wallet.
is if you look
it's a typo from my end. Sorry about that. It's wallet. Sorry.
It's so if you look at popular kind of wallets, they're really focused on transfers of tokens rather than NFTs specifically. So there's a lot of gallery apps that are kind of from the pre kind of Web3 world, which are really focused on making great ways to view art. One of the things that I personally have is I have a lot of great NFTs, on my phone, etc. I'd love to have a really high quality app to show those NFTs. Specifically, what I'd actually really love to be able to do is just walk up to any screen and throw an NFT that I own onto the screen using like an Apple Play or Google Chromecast or something similar. So Expo, there's actually a really good tutorial we have. It's called the Cash App tutorial, which shows connecting to Solana using mobile wallet adapter and using Expo to build an app that works on Android and iOS. And yeah, you can follow that, and then I would start to and modify it and go through the rest of the Expo docs to work out how to throw things onto TVs using Apple Play or AirPlay or Google Cast.
I have the link and I'll share it with you later in this course. Cool. Okay. The next one would be like this two-sided marketplace for services. That was already a request in the Talent Olympics. It's some sort of a side job fair that was put up by Super Team. What is you have services that you can buy and sell that have their data, their metadata embedded into the NFT itself, right? You can track that the service is resold, right? And then you might charge up a fee when this NFT is resold, basically making a liberal profit, perhaps. It can support soulbound and non-soulbound NFTs. Don't worry if you don't know like the standards of them all. We'll be in Discord. We'll share resources more, and you have all that you need to build up this project. Even if not, I really encourage you to dig deeper, right? To research and try to find how to do stuff. This was the main part of this this course, right? Yes, we're gonna give you pointers and directions, but we don't want to do like everything for you. You have to search and find out yourself and fix problems. Last but not least, I think there's a question. Is it?
Yes.
Shoot.
Yep. I wanted to ask, what do you mean by services? Like, give me a few examples of services which can be traded.
You can have like I don't know, like a lecture, right? You have like a pass to a lecture. That you can buy a ticket to participate in a certain course, right? So you then might end up participating in 3 out of 5 of those courses, and you want to pass in along to another one, and then yeah, you may and at that time resell another buyer would be charged up a fee. You can have you can think of like the platforms that made up like designers with the ones that are request to design a website. Hey, I'm offering your design services. Basically, whatever service you can think of. Yeah, I hopefully I did answer your question. Not many
Yep.
examples come to mind right now, but
Some sort of crypto Fiverr or something.
pretty much, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
cool, thanks.
Last but not least, a prediction market, right? So we want to predict prices for meme coins, for Solana meme coins, because they're hot right now, and users should be able to place up a bet, right? That I think that in a week's time, the price of this meme coin is gonna be X, and then the closest one to the or if you have like correct or the closest one, I think can get home a price for that, right? The bet, the fees that gather up from other people's bets, you make the math there, right? Okay. Yes, another question. Go ahead.
It's I just want to make a comment as well. I think the most exciting so prediction markets, if people aren't really familiar with kind of the ecosystem, are really hot right now. Legally, I think people in the US aren't allowed to bet on things like elections, but people outside the US are. And there's a lot of really big popular prediction market services and a lot of like well-known ecosystem players like Drift, which are like adding prediction markets to their products. So there's kind of even outside blockchain, people have realized that where people actually put their money is a really good indication of what people think will happen, kind of separate from, for example, what the media says. So I think creating prediction markets, I think it's a really exciting thing. It's even more exciting if you do it for something that's outside blockchain. Like people, as I said earlier, people in the US right now are really interested in like what the prediction markets are saying about this upcoming election. People have prediction markets on whether celebrity couples will break up. Like I always think blockchain is more interesting when the content becomes not about blockchain. So you can make a prediction market for anything. As long as you get an oracle to put that data on chain, then you can do what you want. And there's, I think Pith has like ways to get arbitrary data on chain as well. So you make something exciting.
Cool. Thank you, Mike. I think that was the last of the list from the list. Yeah. We have a list of resources. Don't worry about copy pasting them right away. We'll share it at the end. We're just trying to bootstrap you to have everything you need in order to successfully complete your project. Okay, that being said, if you have any questions before we get the mic to either Mike or Jacob to talk more about Solana. No questions, Zach. Okay, anyway, we'll be in Discord if any question pops up. Okay, with that out of the way, whoever wants to pick it up, Jacob or Mike, talk a little bit about yourself, your role in Solana, and I don't know what makes Solana exciting.
Sure. I think what we'll do for this whole thing is we'll introduce some things and then we can run kind of like AMA style. So people have questions, we can answer them. Thankfully, both myself and Mike are here, so we can both answer a wide variety of questions. But anyways, my name is Jacob Creech. I'm head of developer relations here at Solana Foundation. We do a lot of things over here trying to figure out what are the problems that developers have, like y'all, and if y'all do have issues, please let me know. This is how I make things better, and try to fix them or make those issues just not exist. So we do a lot of that type of work. But I just wanted to also say congratulations on going through this program. I know that y'all are on this final project. It is very difficult to get this far. And so I'm sure y'all know that y'all went through this. So definitely major congratulations to y'all. But also, once you finish your final project, don't make it the end. Like, go continue your journey. Go find a job within the Solana ecosystem. There's like, I think there's over 100 jobs in like the engineering space right now that just got posted. Roughly about 40 jobs get posted every week. You can go check those out at jobs.solana.com. You can go check those. Or if you want to just try some like freelance work until you figure out what you want to do, you can go to earn.superteam.fun. I think it's .fun. Yeah, .fun. And there's a lot of different freelance opportunities that you can do that you do little small jobs as a software engineer and still earn some and potentially make a living until you decide what do you want to do full time. And then finally, I wanted to say is that with this final project and any other projects that you want to build is there will be a hackathon, one of the global hackathons that is run by Coliseum starting September 2nd, I believe. I think it's September 2nd to October 6th. I may have the last date wrong, but you can actually enter these projects that you're building, your final projects that you're building, into this hackathon. It's a very competitive hackathon, but it can get you into a place where you can basically earn a living for yourself. So every group that's run a team that has won something in the hackathon, in one of these hackathons, has ended up like building a full-scale company, and for the most part thriving, even like through a bear market. So there's tons of opportunity out there for you. You just have to go after the right ones as you see them, whatever best fits you, whether it's join a project, make your own project, do some freelance work. It's up to you. You choose your own adventure. And then also, I guess one more thing is that Solana ecosystem in general, like as the tools and stuff you learn building on Solana, it's transferable knowledge. So even if it doesn't work out, you learn a whole lot of stuff in the process that you can transfer to any old engineering job, whether or not you're just in traditional tech, wherever you're working. You can use your Rust skills, you can use your knowledge that you use to set up these applications in order to grow in a larger software engineering career. So that's kind of what I want to say about the Solana ecosystem, what opportunities exist for you. I'm open to any questions at all. Same with, I assume, Mike, you can help as well. If y'all have any questions at all about Solana, the ecosystem, what opportunities are there to go forth, what paths people take, I'm happy to answer them. I can open up to the floor and see if anybody has any questions.
Maybe I can start till all the other 40 guys in the call can think about any questions. So I'm curious, Jacob, like usually when landing a job in the Solana ecosystem, or like in a company or in a startup that builds in Solana, what do you think are the, I don't know, best way to differentiate yourself? Like,
okay. Yeah, so the best way and the easiest way to, I'll say also the easiest way to land a job is to build in public. So you were building this final project for I think it was 2 weeks from now. So y'all are going to be building this final project, build in public, talk about it, post about it, like talk about your journey building it. That will get you a job, hands down, like guaranteed if you do it. So I'll share my story of how I got to where I am right now. So 3 years ago, I was building in the Solana ecosystem. I was just building applications, helping out people, and making the developer experience better. And I was doing it very much in public. I was talking about everything I was doing. People found me through that. I suddenly were like, they found me as like, oh, that's a Solana developer. Then they saw that I had a proof of work through the work that I was doing and talking about, and they didn't have to do interviews. They didn't have to like figure out my technical expertise. It's just through the proof of work that I was showcasing and talking about my work, they were able to hire me. And so I was hired on as a developer advocate here at Solana Foundation, and the rest is history. I am here now still. And in fact, every single person, everybody but one on the Solana developer relations team here at Solana Foundation did that. They were building in public. They did a bunch of stuff in public and talked about their work. They got noticed. They got hired. Like if you know Jonas Hahn, he was literally just making games and talking about them and showcasing how he built them in the ecosystem. And people saw him, and we saw him. We're like, hey, we'll hire you. You can do the same thing here and just take your passion and make it your full-time job. So that's what I'd recommend, especially with the project that y'all are starting to build, is that if you just build in public and talk about what you're building, you'll get noticed. And it doesn't take much, as long as, like, if you're here, you have the skills needed to get hired very quickly after doing that.
And when we say talk in public, meaning, I don't know, in the GitHub, on Twitter, on like at the conferences, or like where people should start, I don't know, bragging or like showcasing their work.
So you can do it on Twitter. You can also just make like any old blog. You can make a website that that is like a blogging your journey of building these things. Ultimately, you need to do more than just create a GitHub repo. Basically, it's just like the GitHub repo is a proof of work, but people won't know about it unless they can find it. So discover, like, make yourself discoverable is the thing. What other questions do y'all have?
I do have like an honest question.
Go for it.
Because it's not about the hiring side. It's a bit of technical, because I didn't have time to read about it. But I want to talk, if you can, like in a few short words, talk about blinks and what they are, what they can achieve. I saw they're really cool. You can share basically a link that will point you to a transaction that you can just later sign and send it to the founder. I mean, that's pretty cool. Maybe you can talk a little bit about blinks and actions.
Sure. So blinks and actions, the whole point of blinks and action is, and I guess to give a quick overview, is to bring the crypto experience to where your customers are at. Customers are viewing web pages and trying to interact with links. So blink is literally called as a shortener for blockchain link. So anywhere that can host a link can host a blink, which is great. And what that allows you to do is allows you to kind of host a connection to a blockchain on any web page that supports links. What it does under the hood is it's actually creating a transaction, doing an action on chain for the user. So you can think of things like if you see a modal on a website that says sign up for my newsletter, that could potentially be a blink. And when you do the sign up, what it could do is it could actually send you an NFT to your wallet at the same time as signing up. And all you would do is put in your email or whatever for the newsletter. All that, the full end-to-end application is integrated, and you don't have to think about it like going into your wallet or doing sign up and all that sort of stuff. It just fully integrated experience. So it's a really cool like way of bringing your application to where your users are at already and trying to use that to bootstrap a user base for your app very quickly.
That's cool. That's cool. Thank you.
What other
Maybe
questions?
you guys have other questions. Come on, let's shoot. There you go. Adrian, go ahead.
I missed the name of the hackathon. When you said about a hackathon that whoever ends up winning something at that hackathon ends up doing something great, and I wanted to ask you about the name again so I can read more. Actually, yes, I think you just sent a link, right?
Yep, I just put the link in the chat. So that should be the sign up for it. I think the actual name of the hackathon. So Coliseum is a company that runs these hackathons. It looks like this is I just found the real register page. So this is the real register page for the Coliseum Radar Hackathon. Just as a quick like backstory of these hackathons that these people run, and they've been running hackathons. At first it was within the Solana Foundation. Now it's like their own thing for the past 4 years. And in the past 4 years, all the people that have come out of these hackathons or built projects for these hackathons in total have grossed, I think it's $600 million of funding for their projects. I believe it was 600 million before the last hackathon, so it's probably even more at this point. So there are people that are looking at the winners of these hackathons, and in fact, some of these large companies that are looking to invest in projects, they look in every project within the hackathon, not just the winners. So it's an easy way to get your project in front of other people that are looking to invest and help you grow your first company within the blockchain space. Like that's the secret sauce. It's actually like some of these very big names look through every project that people don't know about. All right, we have some other questions. Marius?
Yes, hi. I was interested to hear if there is any platform for the people building on Solana where they can promote their projects. I hear now that through hackathons we can do that, but is there any platform that we can share our projects?
So normally with like, so I guess there's two answers to that. One, you can just build in public and just share it on Twitter and things like that. Depending on how much you're sharing and how much you're interacting with people, that could do a lot. You can see things with like MetaProfit, MetaDAO, which is a really cool project on Solana. This guy, completely unknown, just sharing on Twitter, suddenly is like really, really well known because he was just talking about what he was building. So that's like a kind of like a shot, though. It's like you have to do a little bit more work. Ultimately, though, a project on Solana is just yet another product. You could share it on like normal things like Product Hunt. That like those are open to you. It's just an application. Just happens to use Solana. That like people do share their applications built on Solana on Product Hunt, and sometimes they get up there on the trending side. That's what I would recommend as well. Like do the normal thing. It's just another application. Do the normal thing, share it in those places, but also share it within the community with other Solana developers. If you also wanted to find there's a community called 76, I think it's 76 developers, right? The 76 devs. Let me get an invite for that. They like a lot of people share their projects in there, and there's like a small community of Solana developers there too. So I'll drop the invite for that. It's just a Discord group. It's a community of Solana developers.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Let's see who's next. Alexandra.
Yes, I have one curiosity and one question. So you've talked about Colosseum. Is it right that Tensor.trade started from that hackathon?
I think they started from an earlier hackathon, not the Colosseum. So I think it's before Colosseum.
Okay.
I don't remember. So I know both of them were building for quite a long time. They were building NFT related things, but I don't remember if they started in Colosseum or not. I know they've entered things in Colosseum each. So what they might have done is they might have done that and then pivoted to Tensor, because I think Tensor actually was built in between hackathons. I'm pretty sure one of the founders won something at some point. I'd have to
I was just curious about that. And you said about Colosseum, and
yeah, I'm pretty sure one of them won the Illinois or Illinois. I think that's how you say his name. He won something earlier at an earlier hackathon, and then Richard, the other founder, started working with him, and they co-founded Tensor. If you want to look at the other like winners of the previous hackathons, things like Ironforge was a grand prize winner. They're now a full-scale company with something like 30 employees and all that. That was built within a hackathon. on one of these hackathons. Also, so ore supply or whatever, the proof of work mining project on Solana was built during a hackathon. It's built during the last hackathon. There's quite a large number of these projects that were built during the hackathons, and they're now full scale companies. I know also like there's a game called like Rune something. I forget. I have to double check. What is it? Rune Punk Legends. Also, they built during the last hackathon. They didn't win a grand prize. They won a first prize in the gaming track. Full scale company. Like I think they're like 10 developers now. So you're still in a startup phase, but like they have the funding to do that just by building during one of these hackathons.
Okay. And the question is like, in Solana ecosystem, are there like, this is more technical to say so, are there like a base stack to say so, to be more desired for the companies? Or I don't know, you need to know front end, back end, smart contract, you need to know all of them, you need to know more front end. Which are the most desired places to?
Okay, so types of developers that which are most desired, is that the question?
Yeah.
So I think it depends. Like if you can show your proof of work and and your ability to build a project, it doesn't matter who you are. Are you a back end, front end, whatever? If you look at like Solana FM, Solana FM was a company that was built in like, gosh, it was a 2021 hackathon. That one did not have a good front end. It was a very good back end. It gave a lot of good information, did not have a good front end. But you're thinking of that, like, wait, it's an Explorer, like great for data analytics. That's not how they start out, yet they still won something in that hackathon. And now they're now 3 years later still building. They have like, I think they have like 20 employees or something crazy. And still thriving within the ecosystem. Those were back-end developers, but you can also build a good front end, because if you've learned anything in this course, you don't have to have any back-end knowledge to build a product on Solana. You can interact with all sorts of products on Solana and you'll be fine. So ultimately, it kind of like boils down to like two things. Can you execute on building a project well? Like people will bet on the team versus the project for a lot of the time, or are you just like that good of a developer that you can jump to whatever's needed to get the job done?
Okay, cool. Also, one more question that came to my mind right now. You suggested one of the project, something about the expo. In the end, we will have like a link to that repo to see how the things work in expo and stuff.
Which part of Expo?
That was Bree's Cash App.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can pull that out right now. That's currently live.
I think one of my questions to Daniel was if there are any integration to React Native or so.
Yep. So let me give an example. All right, so there's one. So it's Cash App clone. This was Bree on the developer relations team. She built a Cash App, like a clone of Cash App on Solana. It uses Solana payments as a backend, but it really just looks like Cash App. So it's using React Native to build it out. And there is, let me look it up, Cash App. There is a full scale guide of how she did it. She did the full write-up right here.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so all the tools exist to build with React Native and Expo today on Solana.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, Valentin, I think you're next.
Hey, Jacob. I have multiple questions, but I will start with one and let others ask you, and then I will come back with others.
Sure.
In terms of comparing the Solana ecosystem to Ethereum one, what do you see as strong points and weak points?
Okay. Yeah. So the Solana ecosystem, the way that they are built is it's a very they're very focused on applications, very focused on how can I get users on my system? How can I get users to build or to join my ecosystem, my application? This is kind of coming from the mindset that you would normally see just in traditional tech. Startups are trying to build applications that get users, and that is their full focus. That is the majority of developers on Solana as well. They're trying to build applications that get users. They're trying to use the technology. They're trying to solve problems the correct way with the technology. So I think that this has a huge strength within the Solana ecosystem. They're building real apps. That's their focus. Now you'll see like the Ethereum ecosystem, they're very focused on infra. Like the majority of products within the Ethereum ecosystem are infra related. It's because the infra that today exists in the EVM ecosystem does not support the apps that are not able to support the users that apps need to actually get any level of adoption to hit product market fit, which is what every single product that is ever built should be trying to do. How can I reach product market fit with the most amount of users and keep iterating on my product to reach that larger group of users? So you see a bunch of infra being built on Ethereum to help those apps get there in the future, but also there's no apps that actually have any, like they're handicapped at 10,000 users per day total on the chain. So it's very small user base. However, I will also say that's kind of you can kind of see that as a weakness of the Solana developers as well. We're so focused on building applications that the infra sometimes has to catch up. And we've seen this in the past. So like, oh, we have so many users on Solana, which is a good problem to have, but things get congested, and then suddenly we have to figure out how can we build the infra to support even more users. Personally, I would rather have this problem than the opposite, where you have not enough users, because then you're just playing catch up, and it's a solvable problem. Versus getting more users and figuring out how to get enough users to use your product is a very, very difficult problem, and it's probably the hardest part of building any product.
I see. Okay. And I want to put another one. In terms of vulnerabilities, we see a lot of vulnerabilities on Ethereum. We see reentrancy attacks, people, I don't know, a lot of smart contracts errors that transform that into a problem for users. How is Solana handling this, or are there any existing ones that are documented or something?
Yeah, so there's a whole documented list of different common issues. Let me go pull them up. A quick note, reentrancy attacks don't exist on Solana. The way that applications are built on Solana does not allow it for that. Let me pull up the security issues. So here I'm going to drop just a program module. There you go. You did it already, Mike. Thank you. This is like a quick course that I know, Mike, you work on the overall course. It was also built by a bunch of guys at a company called Unbox Software. Goes through some common vulnerabilities that you would run through with Solana programs or Solana smart contracts. Ultimately, though, the frameworks that are being built around building on Solana, like Anchor, I think they actually don't allow for the majority of these vulnerabilities to happen anymore. These are things like account checks. You need to make sure that your account is owned by the program that you're expecting, so that people can't fake it and inject it. Or so if you ever use init as needed, what if the init as needed overwrites init as needed can potentially overwrite the state within an account, and then the people can use this as an attack vector to attack your smart contract. That's like one that is not covered, but it's just like, okay, well, you just have to think about what you're doing a little bit longer. But for the majority of the security vulnerabilities that were very common, say 2 years ago, they're not really possible now because Anchor basically doesn't allow you to have the foot gun.
It's something by design.
Yep. And there's also different products that are being built as well that are open source that help you find even more of these issues. For example, this is going to get confusing, but there's another product called Radar not Radar the hackathon, but Radar the Solana static analysis like auditing project. Let me go grab that. This exists to help you find these issues ahead of time. There's also a few other products. There's 3 other ones that are being built right now that will be open source in the next month that are for helping other Solana developers find these issues early and not risk an exploit of some large amount of money on mainnet. So there's a heavy amount of work being done to make security a priority for developers, and the tooling is being built out. But for the most part, the foot guns that allow you to get to these exploits are being removed by the underlying framework.
Mm-hmm.
I will say you can still run into vulnerabilities, but there's a lot of work going on to avoid that from happening.
Okay. Are there any tools that can scan your smart contracts or?
Yeah, so the Audit Wizard one that I just sent, there's also SEC3 runs, I think it's called Watchtower. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Okay.
That is it's SEC3's Watchtower product. That's also like a analysis tool. There's 2 others that I don't remember off the top of my head right now. I think it's Hypernative, I believe is one. Let's see if I can look that up. Hypernative.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of tools that you can use to scan your smart contracts and be proactive in your security. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Alex, go for it.
Hey, Jacob. You mentioned something that I found really interesting before, the fact that on Solana, you guys now have the products and are lacking infrastructures. It goes opposite as most of the other ecosystems, from my opinion. And I was curious to know if you could say some specific directions or places where you think infrastructure and tools could be improved, and where we as developers could perhaps contribute.
Okay, so first off, I'm developer relations, right? So a lot of what I focus on the infrastructure side is tools that make and accelerate developers' lives while they're building. So you as a developer building throughout this course, right? You've probably run into like, this sucks, what the heck is this error, whatever. How can you just make those errors just not exist, or build the right tools that make you be able to go from 0 to 1 very quickly? Like, there's a lot of problems along that 0 to 1 journey. What can you actually do to smooth out those problems? So that's just like a quick thing. That's like a very broad thing, but it's like you've run into a bunch of errors. How can you can think about it yourself. How can you potentially make these just not exist with a tool? Say, for example, if you do this Oracle thing and you want to build on local, this is just a quick example. If you do the Oracle project and you want to build with the Oracle on local, how can you get the Oracle working on local properly without having to copy over the accounts every 5 seconds to get an updated Oracle? That's the problem statement. There's the tool that you can build for that very quickly. Some other things is like infrastructure around. One of the big problems is figuring out what is the priority fee that your user should pay so that they get the lowest possible priority fee to still get their transaction to be confirmed on the network. There's a bunch of people trying to build this type of product today within the ecosystem. You see like Helios has an API, some other people have APIs, but ultimately whoever can build the best product that gives the users the best experience, meaning the lowest amount they can pay to still have the same experience as everybody else, that's a winning product. That's an infrastructure project. It's a potential that anybody can build this. It just ends up being a bunch of data analysis and modeling based off of a ton of data that's happening on chain. So that's another product. So there's a lot of these little infrastructure projects that can help make users' experience better using these applications. I've given one for users, one for devs. There's a ton more that you can potentially find as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool. Marius.
Yeah. Hi guys. So my question is in the context of building a project on Solana, rather than getting hired to build a project for another company.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this course that basically prepares the devs to become Solana developers. But are there any courses or materials or tracks for other positions in the lifetime of a project, like let's say marketing specific on Solana blockchain, or I don't know, a way to get users or a way to reach product market fit?
Okay. Yeah. So those skills are transferable skills from any other tech ecosystem. So Foundation isn't really focused on making sure they exist for Solana specific things, because you can take any product market fit related course out there to figure that out. I would also say, personally, I don't know if those would work. To go for product market fit, you actually have to just take it and try to do it yourself. Like, that's the best learning experience you can possibly have, is you take your product and try everything you possibly can to get that product market fit. Because ultimately, like, a course can teach you the basics, but that's not going to actually help you get to the end. You have to, like, with every product, there's a different course that you have. There's a different, I shouldn't say course multiple times, but different journey you can take to reach that product market fit for your application. And sometimes it just won't happen. And figuring out how you can learn when it's not happening as soon as possible is only done through experience. It's like if you're ever trying to build like applications in tech, I guess let's just take an example of, you're building a Solana app, right? How you architect the account structure to be the most efficient as possible. You can't just learn that in a course. You kind of have to build a bunch of apps, and then you understand, oh, this works a lot for this specific architecture. Same thing if you're working with AWS. If you're building infrastructure for your application, you don't just learn it right off the back. You have to do it a lot, and then you'll figure out, okay, if I want to build this small application and want to run on serverless, use Lambda, use Fargate containers, all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of different things that you can potentially do, but you learn it through experience. So I would personally say, for product market fit and trying to figure out how to get there, you just gotta like sit down and go is what it ends up being. There's tons of people that can help you out with like figuring out who to talk to, and how to get introductions to different things. Like Mert himself at Helios, he will help any Solana developer that wants to figure out, okay, how do I craft my pitch for my project to then get myself like the best chances. The honest answer to that is just figure out how you can make it 30 seconds or less. And if you can't make it 30 seconds or less, you got to figure out, or you got to focus your project a little bit more. So there's a lot of different things that you kind of just learn through experience with that kind of journey. Maybe that might not be super helpful, but in my opinion, it's like the best way that you can make to figure that out.
Got it. Thank you. But another layer of my question was that in a product, in order to be successful, is not needed. Is not just the need for a good developer,
yep,
or one that through trial and error becomes better. There are other roles that need to be filled, like I was saying, marketing. Are there any courses or any tracks that people without tech skills that they can take for Solana specific projects?
For marketing, BD, all those other skills, I don't know if there's like specific tracks. So BD is very similar to like outside. Marketing is very different for crypto, and everybody's holding it close to the chest on what their like secrets are for marketing. A great example is Solana Foundation does marketing very different than every other foundation out there in crypto. Incredibly different. And whether or not we are right or wrong, I don't know. So everybody's kind of like holding it close to chest. So the short answer is no, I don't think there's any course out there for those right now, unfortunately.
And maybe to build on this, usually getting into an accelerator might help, right? Because it can provide support on the 360 perspective of the product. Are any that you, Jacob, you would recommend, or are there any already that are working specifically for Solana projects?
Okay, yeah, Coliseum. Coliseum,
Okay.
So Coliseum runs an accelerator alongside the hackathon that they always run, and they probably know the most. The other one is there's also Turbine can help you as well. So I can just post the link. So WBA, which is Web3 Builders Alliance, they also do a decent amount of work with people to help them figure out how can they ship a product and what do they need to do to ship it well. You can see products that they've come out with, like what is it, 16, I don't remember the name of it. Maybe that name should be fixed. But there was a product for wrapping Bitcoin on Solana that got significant adoption that was built for them. They also help build products, as you can see from the website, for a bunch of different companies. So it's like so they've helped like Wormhole, Bonk, quite a few other companies build products and figure out how they can potentially ship it to reach as many users as possible. So that's another, I don't know if they technically call themselves an accelerator, but it kind of is.
I have another question. So you briefly touch about the way Solana Foundation does marketing, but I would even double down on that and like maybe get your thoughts on the actual culture that is in the Solana ecosystem, right, versus the other ecosystem, right? And you said a bit about, I don't know, the focus on, I don't know, on the users versus the infrastructure and so on, but more at the human level, or like your perspective on like the type of people that are joining Solana, or like, yeah, like
Sure.
what are the first principles that the Solana ecosystem is built on?
So ultimately, as Solana Foundation, we're looking for what kind of developers. We're looking for the developers that have the mindset and the grind to build for as many users as possible. They have a passion for how can I build the best user experience possible on my application. And so that's what a lot of Solana Foundation does, is we do different initiatives that try to find these developers and then support them so much that they're able to do like amazing things within the ecosystem. And you can see that throughout the ecosystem. It's what's turned into that ethos of how can I build my app to reach as many users as possible. All these apps are like, that's what you see all the big developers within the Solana ecosystem doing. So that's like the kind of culture that's going on, and everybody helps each other as well within the ecosystem. We've worked very hard to build like a helping culture within the developer ecosystem, to where developers are helping each other to try to figure out how to bring more users for different applications on Solana, because they ultimately see is like, was it the rising tides raise all ships, I think is something that's probably worded that wrong, but basically that how the saying goes. So they understand like, hey, ultimately any of these apps in any crypto ecosystem is a drop in the bucket. So we're trying to figure out what is that application that's going to create the breakout or the S curve of user adoption on Solana. And that's what like everybody within the Solana ecosystem culturally is like going after, super passionate about it. We have like the Tensor guys, they're doing it all the time. Helios is talking about it all the time. Like, how can I get an app? How can I build that app that gets as many users and actually brings adoption within like any person that is out there, not specifically crypto native. So that's like the culture of the Solana ecosystem, and that's kind of just the shared culture that you would also find in like general tech. Like if you go to Silicon Valley, they're like literally just building apps and trying to figure out how can I get users for my app. It's a shared startup culture basically.
And then I have one more question. So in blockchain, usually it's super important to connect with people and know them also in like person. And I know that in Solana there are like different type of events that you guys are organizing across the world. And some of them are more business oriented, some of them are more tech oriented, like you have the hacker houses, like you have the breakpoint or like conferences, you have the Colosseum, which are mostly online. But on the in-person events, what would you recommend, or yeah, I don't know, for our developers? Like, what would be the most nicest one, or like the ones that would help them connect to the broader Solana community and create connections, or like meaningful connections, or learn more about the other projects, or I don't know, potential clients or potential startups to join?
Got it. So there's two things. Is that I would say that hacker houses can be used for both non-technical and technical. They're basically just a networking event that helps people connect with other people in the Solana ecosystem. So that's probably the big one. The other one is, I don't know where the most local super team is for y'all, but like the super teams that run across the world, they build the events that network and help people connect to their local communities, to find the right people to build your projects, to find out what kind of opportunities exist locally or even like globally that you can take building on Solana.
Yeah, got it. I think there is a super team Balkans or something, but I didn't see it active in Romania, or like, but they might be more active in the Balkans. Yeah, maybe we will have one more closer to us as well. Otherwise, yeah, I think that one, the Balkan super team is.
I'm trying to look. I don't think there's one in Romania today. There is the Super Team Balkan one that exists. They're pretty active as well. Yeah, there's lots of little groups across the world for Solana developers.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? I would totally recommend get involved, talk to other Solana developers, join the 76 devs community, talk to people on Twitter. Everybody's very opening and welcoming to any person joining the Solana community. It's the way getting active and talking with people is how you're going to make a very large career within the Solana ecosystem. Alexandru, go for it.
Are there any place where we can find a open source project to get involved to, or I don't know? Do you have any websites to find some project that have open source projects to get involved to it?
Got it. So there's the earn.superteam.fun. They post a lot of bounties for how to get involved with different projects. There's also another thing, what's it called? Let me pull it up real quick. There's another one that is for getting involved with different projects. I'm trying to find it right now. Where is the guy who runs? His name is Anthony. There we go. Gibwork. Okay. What is it called? So gib.work. It's also an application that has a list of open source projects that you can get involved in. And then finally, there's also Cubic. So Cubic is it's really a donation platform for doing quadratic funding or funding for open source projects within the Solana ecosystem. They have a list of just projects that are open source there that you can find to potentially contribute to. The biggest projects you can already see at the very top are things like Anchor or the MetaDAO project or Radiance DAO. Honestly, I'm looking for more. It's not my project, but I personally am looking for more people helping out Anchor. Yeah, Mike just posted. There's lots of issues on Anchor, and it's probably the highest impact you can do if you just want to contribute back to something in Solana, because this immediately affects all Anchor developers, which is most Solana developers out there. But yeah, so there's what, 2 or 3 places that you can look for open source projects that you can potentially contribute to.
Okay, thank you.
I will say also, like, find your product that you like on Solana and just reach out to them and see if you can contribute to you. How I got my start was I was using some app on Solana, and something didn't work as I expected it to. So I went and found the maintainer's project on GitHub, and I just committed code. I made a pull request on like updating to make the user experience better, and it was pulled in, much to my surprise. And I know the guy who pulled it in, and I've chatted with him since then. So he's still within the Solana ecosystem too. But like, that's how I got my start. I just took an app that I used on Solana, looked up their repo, and then just contributed to hopefully make their experience better. Because I was just like, if I'm going to use this thing, I want it to be better.
That's cool.
Well, what other questions? I think it's great. Y'all are a great crowd. These are very good questions y'all are coming up with.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that as we have the call recorded, maybe we actually can document them as a Q&As, and probably we will put in the Discord all the links that you guys put here, because they are super useful, and probably also for the next program it would be useful to have them from day one. Yeah, thank you so much, Jacob and Mike, for being here with us. And probably, I don't know, maybe at the end, I just want to thank you, the entire team of Comets, like Daniel and Andre and Joanna, for organizing everything around the program. It's not that obvious, but it was like an entire machine behind the scene, with putting in place all the communication, making sure everyone has all the information and are able to go through the workshops in the best way possible.
Thanks, Diana. There's also some really good teams in Romania as well. I'll paste a link to one of them. This is a job ad from MetaWealth, who are a tokenized real estate company. And if you look at it, you'll actually see a lot of the things you've been learning in the last few weeks or so. So they're talking about Anchor, ATAs, PDAs, a lot of things you'll be familiar with, and some things like oracles, etc., that you haven't played with, but I really encourage you to learn about. So obviously we're in a great situation in tech right now where remote is incredibly common as well, but there's also some amazing things going actually on in Bucharest as well right now. Something else that I would also encourage you to join if you need something to do after the call is the Super Team Ecosystem call. This is just a good way to see what's happening in all of Solana. It's actually going on right now. I think for the next 20 minutes. So I'm not sure if we finish early, maybe people want to check this out. That can be a good way to connect with the rest of Solana.
Yeah, actually, we were talking with other Solana Romanian devs that were already know already Solana, so they didn't need to get the class. And yeah, we were talking that if we would be able to join us for the call, but we were saying, yeah, at least the last call that we have for the cohort, it's overlapping with the community call. But yeah, I think it would be a fantastic opportunity from now on. Everyone that wants to keep in touch with the latest news or developing in the Solana ecosystem to join the global community call. And yeah, I think this is just the beginning, right? Now we have another 50 Solana developers in Romania, and soon, probably in the next few months, we will have another 50. So I think and I know how the Romanians are very techy, very ambitious. So yeah, I think that's having 100 Romanians that know Solana, it's quite something.
This is awesome. I will always be for more developers within the ecosystem. I look forward to seeing the community grow within Romania as well of developers on Solana.
Super. Thank you so much for for the support, for being here, like answering all the questions. Yeah, I think there is one more. No. Okay. Okay, so if there are not any more questions, then I think we can wrap it up, and then yeah, like basically we will have all this, like another 2 weeks of office hours where anyone that still has challenges with the labs and the project can join in and get all the support that they need. We have as well the Discord where Daniel and Andre and all the Comets team will be in there to provide all the support. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we are sending over the graduation NFTs.
Cool.
Great.
That's good.
Okay, so
Right.
I think that's it.
Thank you. Thanks again,
you.
Mike
Thank you so
and
much.
Jacob,
Have a
and
wonderful-
everybody for being here.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Congratulations again.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good. Papa.
Papa.
It might be Nepal.